You got to go outside the Beacon Hill Studios where there's three sexy men standing on the corner.
All right, Dougie, your wish is my command. Joined by two guys who got the memo from Sal DeMacy. They're not going casual dress anymore. Cosmo Macero of O'Neill & Associates, Peter Cadges of the Boston Phoenix, both working on this Bunker Hill Day. What gives?
I'm celebrating in the spirit of Colonel Prescott. Keep drinking till the whites of your eyes turn bloodshot.
Wow, you've been sitting on that one for a week. Look at how proud he is. I haven't seen someone laugh at his old jokes like that since, Levanchi last hour, as a matter of fact. Gentlemen, let's get serious.
It's an important day in history.
Game 6 tonight. Celts up 3-2. Any concerns? Do they take care of business tonight?
I got to say, I called Celtics in 7. I think Peter called them in 6. I don't see a reason that they lose tonight. So, there is no reason that they lose this game. I think I feel pretty good about it. And I know they got that safety net, but I don't see why they lose this game tonight.
I think what we want to look for tonight is consistency. Games 2, 4, and 5, there's been this big 20-point swing. If there's going to be if the points are going to break out, lead by 50, crush them. But they need a more consistent game.
How do they celebrate if there is a victory, Cosmo? Of course, we don't want to jinx anything, but are we going to do a parade? Are we going to do a rally? What's going on?
I'd like to see the throwback rally, going back to the City Hall Plaza, classic, 1 hour at midday. Most of the kids are out of school, so nobody has to cut school. It's beautiful.
Classic Bunker Hill fashion, Peter, too. We have the rally on Thursday, so no one works Thursday. Of course you're not working Friday. You make a monster-long weekend out of this.
It's Massachusetts.
There we go. Let's talk politics for a second, gentlemen. Then we'll get to the issue that's been ripping at Cosmo's innards for some time. Let's talk vice presidential politics, because we're starting to get a sense of where guys are leaning here, and we're starting to get some rumors. Last night, Peter, Al Gore endorses Barack Obama. Wow, going out on a limb there. And who saw this one coming, too? Really shocking. But there has been this rumor going that maybe, just maybe, Obama's going to pick Gore as his running mate. Any chance of that, and what did you make of the endorsement?
I would say there is zero chance of Al Gore being the vice presidential nomination. As speeches go, it was a fine endorsement, but it was a really boneheaded move to have Al Gore speaking in Michigan. Granted, the auto industry isn't what it used to be, but Mr. Green Gore is anathema to people in the Motor City. And if they had done it in Ohio, it wouldn't have been much better. I mean, they should have had him endorse him in someplace like California where tree huggers would appreciate it.
On the Republican side, Cosmo, and I use that term a little bit loosely because the hot rumor is that John McCain's people, or some of John McCain's people, think he should actually pick Joe Lieberman, a Democrat up until a couple of years ago when he was forced to become an independent. They think Lieberman should be his running mate to sort of cross all barriers here.
I don't think that makes any sense at all. I mean, McCain is already going to have a challenge on the Iraq War during this general election campaign. Why then double down on that with Joe Lieberman? It doesn't make any sense. He needs economic credentials. He needs someone who can talk about the economy in this very difficult time. I think that could be Mitt Romney. He also needs, and Romney may fit this bill also, a geographic strategy. Romney gives him Michigan, someone else may give him Florida. I just don't think it makes sense to double down on the Iraq War when that's your weakness already.
Either one of you want to make a prediction as to who is going to be at least one of the party's vice presidents, or do we still not know?
I don't know, and this is a crazy year to predict.
Yeah, I agree. It's just too messed up. It's too soon.
Speaking of too messed up, Cosmo, and you've been calling me for 4 days, I'm going to give you a chance. Peter, step back. I will step back. What? It turns out that America apparently is up for sale. Budweiser.
It's been for sale for a long time.
Well, that's a fair point, but now we're getting really down to it. Budweiser is apparently, there's a hostile takeover going on, and a Belgian company wants to own Budweiser. This cannot stand, Cosmo.
What it tells me is that not only is America for sale, there is the world is bargain shopping, and the American economy is sort of one big building 19. This Budweiser, this proposed Budweiser
that line too.
This proposed Budweiser deal. What's interesting about this is that the offer, is good as it stands, and it's probably going to get better. If you're a shareholder of Budweiser, if you're Warren Buffett, who owns 5% of the company, you ought to take this deal because it's the best offer you're going to see for a long time. Problem is, this is an icon of American branding. The White House might as well be for sale. But If you look at the if you look at the economics of it, it's a deal that shareholders ought to take. But man, talk about buying a real piece of American culture.
But here's the question, okay? You're talking a good game. You're all upset about this. When was the last time you had a Bud?
The last time I had a beer, I had a Bud. I mean, that's what I drink. I drink Bud Pro.
Look at the smile now. Are we sure we can believe this?
Look, I may have had a Beck's every once in a while over the last few years. You won't catch me with one of those Stella Artois sissy beers. I'm sorry. It's just not going to happen. And those
that almost was a shot of you, Cat. That's how I took that.
And those are the guys that want to buy a Budweiser, this Belgian company, InBev. I just think it's a difficult situation because if you look at the numbers here, it's a deal that the shareholders ought to make. But, man, talk about selling a big piece of America.
But on the other hand, the Saudis are trying to buy the Chrysler building, Peter. I mean, like you said, isn't everything for sale these days?
Well, I understand Cosmo's concern. Big business is big business. It's international. In terms of currency, in terms of dollars, there are no boundaries. It'll be interesting to see what happens.
What may rescue St. Louis here is a deal
you reach for that mic like you reach for a Bud. Gimme!
Is a deal they may have to make with a Mexican company that they already own half of. It's the reality is it's a deal that probably ought to happen from the shareholder perspective, and the rest of us are pretty much powerless to do anything about it.
You guys big on the sharing of the one mic, or do you want your own ones next week?
I want my own.
Yeah, I vote for my own.
Peter Catches of the Phoenix, Cosmo Macero of O'Neill & Associates. They are the heavy hitters.